right, good afternoon. Welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana. Good Afternoon Ghana today is coming to you from a totally different studio. I know that this is not the traditional studio we usually come from, but we're just trying something out for you to, something new, something creative for just today. But the main topic for today on Good Afternoon Ghana is that we intend to look at that raging controversy, a matter which has dominated the news headlines. It's been the talk of town since Saturday, where news broke. In fact, it was actually on social media. News broke that a 12-year-old, now 16-year-old child, of course she's a minor, is married to a 63-year-old fetish priest. Sorry, I'll struggle to mention the name, but it's Bobuwolo, I think something like that, yes. Sorry, I'll get that correctly. I'm not God, so you can pardon me. But this matter has become a subject of controversy where there have been all kinds of condemnations from a section of Ghanaians that it is an affront to the country's constitution, 1992 constitution. This type of customs and traditions are things that Ghana must not entertain. We heard from the Gender Ministry, we've heard from the Attorney General's ministry, of course, Ministry of Justice and Attorney General. We've also heard from the police. We've heard from all kinds of NGOs about this matter, stating their position on it. On Good Afternoon Ghana today, we intend to ask the question, is it that we do not appreciate and understand some of the nuances of some of these traditional rites, or clearly there is a practice that we must condemn and we must take away from our culture as Ghanaians? That's what we're trying to establish. And if indeed we believe that these culture or these traditions and customs are good, how do we modify, how do we reconcile, how do we bring it into, how do we make sure that it is consistent with the 1992 Constitution? That's what we intend to look at this afternoon on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Aldo Moro. When I come back, I'll be introducing my resource persons. All right, welcome back. This is Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Aldo Moro. So this afternoon we are delving into that raging controversy which has engulfed almost the entire country. In fact, it's even gone international. The BBC has reported on it. It's about that surprising turn of event where a 12-year-old, now 16-year-old, in fact it was 12 at some point, 13, now 16-year-old, has been married off to a Bobuwolo, a very powerful priest within the Nungwa traditional area, in fact within the Gandagwe traditional area or enclave. And that has sparked all kinds of outrage. People saying that this practice is an affront to the 1992 Constitution, and so we must do away with it. There are also some who are saying that no, these are customs, these are traditions, these are things that have been with us for more than 800 years. Nobody has a problem with it, and so we must maintain it. Even means we need to just modify it a little bit. So that is where we are. Now, we have had NGOs who have written copiously. We have EduWatch, we've had Girls Not Brides Ghana, we've had the NCCE, of course that's a statutory body. We've had all kinds of people writing and actually stating their position on it. Some of them actually asking that their marriage should be dissolved because it is not right. And that the laws of the country are quite clear on this matter. Now, we have found out that this matter is actually is more widespread than we think. It's almost everywhere in this country. And so the bigger question is that how do we harmonize these customary laws in ways that can conform to the principle of human rights and gender equality? That is the subject of the constitution. So we're not going to dwell so much on what has happened. Of course, we'll talk about it, but it's a bigger conversation which we need to have. And that's what Good Afternoon Ghana will be focusing on. Now, this afternoon, I have some gentlemen here. I've got a couple of, of course, some gentlemen who do justice to this topic. One is a politician, but he's not here as a politician. He's here as a Ga, a proud one as such, and knows. In fact, he's a Gadangbe, exactly, and he knows about the history, the culture, the customs of the people, and he's here to educate us. you can form your own opinion and your own judgment. But that's why he's here. He's not going to say it's right or wrong, but he'll tell you what it is and as it is. And then there's another gentleman here who is also joining. In fact, he works within the NGO space. He's called Joseph Wemako. I hope I got the pronunciation of the name correctly. Yes, Joseph Wemako. Now, Joseph Wemako is the it's for the HRRG CEO. He'll explain what that means. And also the winner of the 5th UN Global Entrepreneurship Awards for 2023. He's also here. But before that, let me say a very good afternoon to the Honorable Member of Parliament for Ododo Diojo, who is a Gadangba. I said, in fact, this afternoon, I said he's not here as a politician. He's here as a member, a proud Gadangbe. Good afternoon, boss. Yeah. It's good to see you. How are you, boss?
I'm blessed.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. And it's always a pleasure having you here.
I'm doing fine. You're
and that's Wemako. And also, Brighter Pia is the Executive Director of Child Rights International. He'll also be joining us on the show at some point to express his thoughts on the matter. And also, Daniel Osei Tufuo is the Executive Chairperson of the Young African Women Congress Network. He'll also be joining the show at some point. So for now, we have the two gentlemen here who will help us navigate what appears to be a very controversial matter which has dominated the headlines, in fact, since weekend. Honorable, I'll start with you because you understand the culture, the customs, and the traditions of people much better. Have you been surprised by the kind of reaction which has greeted what was supposed to be a quiet, you can call it a customary marriage or a spiritual, how do you call it, activity, which has now turned out to be as we speak?
First, let me thank you for the opportunity to be on the program and also give my perspectives about what has been with us and our tradition for a long time. Let's all know that evolution of man also created the sort of living, behavior, customs, traditions of those people. And nobody can dispute the fact that as we evolve, our cultural practices, customs, and traditions sometimes get diluted from education, civilization, and also interface with other cultures and traditions.
Or what should we term as westernization?
I would not even go to westernization. So, for example, let's say the Ghanaians migrated from Israel, went through different settlements. Yes. Throughout to the Mesopotamia, through to Mauritania, Togo, northern Nigeria, Togo, Benin, before. So, in the transition, for everywhere that they settled for some time, they picked something from them. When we settled here, we were not used to chieftaincy. So, our then leaders were our traditional priests, and then the Asafo chairman. When we settled here, along the line, interfacing with the Ashantis, the Akwamus, the Dangerous, the Fantis, and the rest, we saw the proficiency of chieftaincy. So the Gans developed chieftaincy. So really, if you look at our chieftaincy culture, and you see things like our linguists speaking, you see things like our libation pouring and appellations and things, you see some flexes of Akan culture in us. If you listen to some of our Asafo songs, you basically would think that, is it not Akans who are performing, but we are Gans. If you go a little bit deeper to some of our clans and towards the Dangme area, their culture is a bit more synonymous with the culture of the Voltarians because of the settlement and all those things. So you will say that we have a very diverse but then unique culture. That's why our festival, the Asafotu, be it the Plejo, be it the Homowo, look different from all other Ghanaian cultures. Sometimes if you don't really take your time to study our customs, our cultural practices, and our traditions, you may end up generalizing us, you may end up making a mistake of thinking that we are not conforming to certain things. But those cultures are unique to us. We have our own way of naming ceremony. We have our own way of funerals. We have our own way of even say dancing. If you go straight into our tradition, our culture, our system of marriage is even different from the way other Ghanaian tribes and clans do theirs.
Right.
So, let me say this. What has occasioned this is because of lack of understanding of the many people who are giving interpretation to what happened.
Right.
Secondly, I think our people also did not really handle the communication aspect well.
Right.
What happened is something that has happened over a period, years, centuries. Let me also say that it's still happening all over the country. Not only, it's not unique to the Ghana base.
Right.
If you go to the Volta region, it's there. If you go to the Northern region, it's there. If you go to the Ashanti region, it's there. Central region, everywhere. But it's also even biblical. If you go into the Bible, Samuel was given to God to serve God. It says he was set apart to serve God at a very young age. Samson was the same. He was set apart to serve God at a very young age, that they even said, no Caesar shall touch his hair. No razor shall touch his hair.
That's true.
So these are some of the things that we say. Even today, as we have it today, there are young boys at the age of 6, 7, 8 who are dedicated to the service of the Lord in our churches. You understand? So they serve in the church, especially in the Anglican church, in the Roman Catholic church, and they serve in the church, they work in the church and grow to the church. In our traditional areas, there are also people, both sexes, male and female, boys and girls, who right from their infancy become set apart to serve the gods and the spirits. Because
how are those people chosen?
it's divination.
It's divination.
Yes, it is. It's not. It's not. Sometimes
It's in the spiritual realm.
yes. No. Sometimes certain families have been set apart
Okay.
as the same way people come from families that inherit particulars too.
Right.
Some families also have a particular, let me say, those families have been set apart to serve and to inherit the position of a traditional priest.
Right.
Some also are due to certain things that the family, for example, we have families who are having problem with childbirth.
Yeah.
They're looking for children, they can't get them. Those children could go to the shrine and pray and ask for children. And the shrine could say that, yes, we'll give you a child, but when the child has been given to you, at this age, you will give the child back to serve. So those things happen. I'm a Christian. And I have no doubt about the fact that I'm a Christian. I know I'm a Christian. But I'm also a Ghanaian. And I value our culture and tradition. To the extent that I think that unless you want us as a people to become distinct, extinct, then you will tell us to bury our culture and tradition. Because it is our culture and tradition that identify us as Ghanaians. And so anyone who engages in our tradition, our culture, I don't care the level of your education, I don't care your Christian or religious belief. I have Christians, I have Muslims who are also avowed Ghanaians and practice our tradition.
Right.
Our festivals are our sort of things we do in our houses, our traditional houses, and our, homes, do not make us, deviant from our religious beliefs. A lot of these, our traditional priests, you see them, are also Christians or Muslims.
Right.
Today, up to today. I have many of the traditional priests in my constituency who are Muslims or Christians. And they serve the God, they do the, but they also do and practice their tradition and culture. And so you need to understand the perspectives before you go in. With this particular case, let me say, people who went there to cover the program, you understand, most of them bloggers and some journalists, only took into consideration what they heard the master of ceremonies, who sometimes embellish these things, what they said.
Yes.
But they did not go back to find out the real, what is this whole ceremony about. Because the whole ceremony was about something. It's not just fanfare. Yes, these things happen all the time, but in this particular case, it was elevated to a particular level that seemed like, wow, what is happening?
Are you suggesting, I'm not even saying you're suggesting, but clearly what you're saying is that the MC of the occasion has actually contributed.
Have you been to any of the, these are
no, I haven't.
Our marriage ceremonies before?
No, I haven't.
The MCs do wonderful things. They embellish things, they say certain things.
But they become the star of the event.
Yeah, sometimes they mix things with some choral music, some hymns, and all. They do all those things. They do interpretation of the things they are saying, sometimes in their own, just to create fun and make the whole thing merry.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So sometimes, as a journalist, as somebody who is so much interested in the culture of the people, go behind what the MC is saying and find out from the people what they're doing. You understand? It was real tradition at play.
Yes, because that's a very important point. Because I saw a certain disconnect between what the MC was saying as against what we're being told.
Because sometimes you understand Ghana.
Yes, I understand Ghana. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
New York guy. Well, so I'm like, if the MC is saying, go and satisfy your husband, both this and that, we're giving you these gifts to go and do this, and I mean, she basically sexualized the lady, the girl.
Yeah.
And so it created a totally different impression from what we're being told.
Let me say this.
That if this is customary, why all these?
You see,
why all these commentaries?
The first point has to be made.
Okay.
The girl at that time was not being married by the Babu Ulomo.
She was married to who?
She was being married to the shrine, Babu.
Or the deity?
Yeah, deity.
Or the stool?
The deity or the stool.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
Even in our chieftaincy, there are women who sometimes are married to the stool. They are called Senheyo.
Oh.
Is there?
I get it.
You understand?
So
their duty and responsibility only to serve the stool. So if they are performing any domestic duty like cooking for the chief and all those things, it is their service to the stool, and not as a marital bondage.
I see.
You understand? With the occupant of the stool.
Yes.
So they may not even be a relationship.
So if today, if honorable, so let me call it Ni. So Ni, if today you were made the Babu Ulomo,
yes,
you will inherit this process.
Yes. Yes. Automatic. Yes.
Because what is constant is the deity.
Yes.
The variable is the person who is there.
Yes. So the interpretation did not go well. The girl was not being married
to the man,
the Babu Ulomo, known in life in person as Stephen Akwete.
Why was, because the MC, I suppose, was Gantu. No, I'm saying this for a purpose because I'm not saying, I'm not going to assume the fact that she's speaking Gami, she's an Indij or she's a Gadangbe. She's a Gadangbe too.
Yes.
Now, when you listen to the kinds of things she was saying, it is in total.
Because he is doing the thing to add color to it, to make it seem as if
it's a normal marriage that we perform.
Because they are used to doing those things all the time.
I get it.
And you see, they also at that time were personifying the deity in the Ulomo.
Oh, right.
You understand?
Right.
Just as when you come to Christian belief, we said the Lord descended into humanity. The Lord became a man.
Okay.
And so that is what they were doing at that particular time.
Okay.
So you see, and then two, there is a historical antecedent to this. Okay. I don't know, but more if you permit me,
can do this briefly, because I want to bring it.
Yeah, I will show you. I will show you something. I will show you something.
All right.
This is a picture of the girl at age 6.
Oh, at age 6?
Yes.
So I want to show it to, I don't know that the camera can capture this.
So this rite was performed for her at age 6. The first time she went through the rite.
But this is the same picture. Was it the same picture we saw? No, this is not the same picture. No. So she was actually married off spiritually at age 6.
At age 6.
So if the camera can capture it, that would really be great. I don't know how to do this. So here we go. Okay. Well, once the camera guys are ready to capture this, Norma will show it to you. But this was when she was married at age 6.
Yes, age 6.
I see.
And there is a bit of a history to it. I want my brothers to have a look at it.
So it's actually the confirmation or the official ceremony.
It's a process.
To outdoor her.
It's a process.
It's a process.
Yes.
Okay.
From one stage to the other, and then finally you become this thing. But then this I can tell you from this age, none of her liberties have been truncated or stalled.
She's still living a normal life.
Normal life.
Going to school.
Going to school, everything. In fact, she was even living with her current member of parliament.
Oh.
Yes. She was set apart differently. So they wanted her to get all the best people within society to serve her. You understand? So the member of parliament she was giving the member to give her all the best of education, of everything. In fact, so when it got to this level and she was called to move into the second phase of the tradition, the member of parliament herself felt bad because she was going to lose somebody she has taken to be her daughter and all those things. But what she got to do? She knew of that was her contribution also to the development of our culture and tradition at the time.
I'll come back to you, Honorable. I think this background information is crucial. It's extremely important. But be that as it may, I hope you are also mindful. I mean, you are also a lawmaker. You also be mindful of this beautiful story, this beautiful culture. It's something that the laws of this country frown upon.
No.
I'll tell you why.
The laws don't frown upon our culture.
No, I'm talking about this culture of marrying off a minor, even if it's spiritually, to a deity. That's what I'm saying.
What the law says. I'll be happy to say what the law says.
Yes, in fact, it's actually.
I'm not a lawyer, but at least
it's actually the Children's Act where it clearly states where it clearly states that you shall not marry off a minor
or betrothed.
Either betrothed or married, or be a subject of a dowry transaction.
By what? By force.
By force.
By force.
Okay, so that's what.
By force.
I'll come back to you on that. And it's a very interesting. That's the next leg of the discussion we intend to have. But let me bring in what's the name of this gentleman again? Joseph Wemako. Joseph, what do you make of this? I mean, I'm sure. First of all, when did you hear about this development or this incident or this event? What was your immediate reaction, and what perspective do you want to share as far as this matter is concerned?
So, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'd like to also extend the same thank you to our viewers out there. That was on Saturday when the
social media was buzzing.
Yes. With videos, you watch the video. So it was on our platforms.
I thought it was outside that. Before I read the caption, I thought it was outside that.
Yeah, so it was on our platforms. Right. And, our people were, asking questions. What is this and all that? So we saw that and we're like, wow, because like the Honorable rightly said, the kind of interpretation that follows the video, and quite interesting if you listen to the MC, how she was using her words, embellishing, and that tells you that this is one ceremonial event purposely meant for marriage. And the age in question is also very wonderful.
Right.
12-year-old.
Yeah.
So the signal
now
that is being...
at the time.
At the time, we were told that it's 12-year-old. Okay. And I think you see a picture that which you have just presented on the screen, projected on the screen as well. So you see the big man, 63-year-old, and a 12-year-old girl. The picture alone will move you
That's
to
true.
action.
Yeah.
So we were moved.
Does she look 12?
Well, she doesn't look 12, to be honest.
That's-
So I don't know where the 12 came from, but I'm sure the journalists who were at the
Yeah.
event were told she was 12. Somebody might have told them she was 12.
But she's not 12.
Yeah, she doesn't look 12. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so upon hearing this and listening, watching this clip and listening to the MC, tells you that no, there's something wrong. Is this happening in Ghana? Because this thing has moved beyond the boundaries of Ghana, as you have rightly stated in your intro. So we felt that, as activists, we need to take action. So we were actually, how do I put it, concerned. We were outraged, and we felt, no, if this is true, then we need to also send some signal out there, condemn, and also call the authorities to action, to move swiftly, and ensure that, one, they annul the marriage.
Right.
Two, they probe swiftly and find out if this is true. And if it is true, those who are involved, should be held culpable.
Right.
So based on that, we have also come out with a release that was published yesterday, and it's circulated widely, just to add our voice to the uproar, the public outcry that has been, moving on. Yeah. So basically,
basically, you were also
yes,
outraged.
Yeah.
You were not happy with what you saw.
I wasn't happy,
Okay.
but based upon the narration that Honorable
has
has
just
just given. From the perspective or the angle of tradition, culture. I mean, somebody like me who is an activist, I won't just listen to this and believe.
Right.
In the first place, what was the ceremony for?
Okay.
Even the picture that we have watched, that the rite has been performed at the age of 8 years or 7 year old.
No, 6 years.
6 year old.
It was
okay.
performed when she was 6.
Okay, at 6.
Yeah.
So we should also know about this ritual. I think something ought to be written about her, that, this is so and so, they have done this. Forward that, then the next initiation which they are doing, or maybe something to suggest that, they have done this for her, this is who she is. Because according to the press conference that they had yesterday, we heard the administrator from the Bobu Lomo's administration.
Yeah, he's actually issued a whole statement. I actually have a copy here.
Stating that, it is more of somebody that the deity married, the deity possessed, and she has a special role to play. So such a person should even have a profile to say this and that. So moving forward, if they are doing another ritual at the age of 16 or whatever, 12 or 16, that will also be in the news, so that, prior to that, we can read about what happened in the past and what is going on now. That way it is easier. Even people reporting will watch out and say, no, maybe we are not doing the right report, or we are blowing things out of proportion. Based on that, they can also use this to make a case. But nothing like that has happened. We could argue out and say that maybe because they want to come into defense in the face of criticism and dissolution, they are coming out to defend. Therefore, they are creating some stories which doesn't add up.
All right.
So I would like to, I'm even fascinated about this kind of ceremony that was taking place at that time. How will you call it? What kind of rite was they performing? Because based on what we saw, it was clear that this is a marriage ceremony between an elderly person and a minor. Unless we can have the name of the ritual that is being performed, the one that was performed at the age of 6, the recent one that blew, that became a big news.
I don't think there was any rights at the time when she was 6.
So you see, the issue is that I agree with him perfectly.
Yes.
All of us in this country, we failed to document and to write
A tradition.
our culture and traditional practices. We haven't.
That's true.
So
there must be a
there's
whole
no
book on the
literature.
Gadangwes.
Yes, there's no literature for people to read and know. It's just been handed over to us by orally by our fathers. Sitting here, all that I've learned about the Gadangwe people is something I was told by my grandfathers, because grandmother, because I used to sit at their feet and learn.
And the challenge with that is that it gets diluted. The
Thank
more
you.
it becomes orally.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that is
whereas
even
if it's
why
written,
our culture and tradition as a people, Ghanaian culture and tradition, is being affected by Western culture.
That is true.
Because our children coming up do not have anything to read
You're right.
about their fathers, their grandfathers,
You're right.
where they come from,
You're right.
in order to be able to situate themselves well within the cultural competition
I
they
get
find
it.
themselves.
Let me go to Daniel. Daniel is the executive chairperson of the Young African Women Congress of Network. First of all, what's this NGO? Just briefly, who are you before, so that people know where you're coming from with your submission on the matter? I should have probably done same with
Yes,
my other
I'll
colleague.
be doing that.
Sorry, what's your NGO again?
So the Human Rights Reporters Ghana,
Okay.
HRRG for short.
Okay.
So it's an initiative of young Ghanaian journalists, editors, lawyers, and human rights activists who have come together to help address issues of human rights violations, to bring the country closer to achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Agenda 2063, the Africa that we want. So basically, we focus on critical human rights issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So that means that for you, you are not coming across this for the first time. You've heard about some of these practices for a long time in your job and in your career.
No. Okay, I've learnt about the unfortunate one, trocosi.
Trocosi,
yes.
but not this one.
Yes,
not
but I try to draw some similarities between this and trocosi, and I can see where the thing is going.
Okay.
And I will be touching on that.
Okay.
Because with the trocosi one, virgins are used to compensate for the sins or the crimes committed by their families. So they are meant to do hard works, and they are also used as sexual tools for the priests.
I see.
They have sexual
it's happening today in Ghana.
Yes, over this stretches for centuries, over 300 years. Wow. Now, efforts to put a stop to this, it's always not working, because it is still neck deep. People are still doing this today. Okay. It's a religion, a kind of religion.
It's a culture.
Well, I get it. That's what you've emphasized for a very long time. That it's not the kind of thing that you can easily deal or fight, because that's their culture. That's how they live. But then we'll come back to whether it conforms with the constitution. That's where I will come in when after Daniel. Daniel. So where do you stand on this? I mean, again, I've asked the same question I asked your other colleague talking about Joseph. When did you hear about this matter? How was your immediate reaction? And what's your stand on this? But before then, tell me a bit about your NGO.
Right, so the Young African Women Congress Network is a fraternity of women from the continent, as in women of African descent, living on the continent and the diaspora.
Okay.
Our main focus is to empower women, and we are segmented by chapters based on country demarcation. So presently we have 8 chapters across the continent of Africa. We have one at the headquarters, which is Accra. So we have the Ghana chapter, we have Nigeria, we have Sierra Leone, we have Liberia, Cameroon, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Kenya. So basically, as part of our activities, we advocate for women and young girls. We have been around for the past 8 years. So we've been doing this work. Recently, we just, I think about 10 days ago, we ended a 20-day campaign against female genital mutilation, which the practitioners of that also, alluded to culture.
Okay.
Yeah, so for us, we heard about this on Saturday. We saw the snippet of it in the social media, and the commentaries that were coming out of it. So usually when we hear of some of these stories, we don't just jump into it, especially when it has got to do with, there is a culture, antidote to it. We try to do some assessment and some background works, then we do some juxtaposition between that with the constitution and what the various acts that protect these girls say. So we did some little assessment of the whole thing, and of course after this whole issue came up, there have been series of I won't call it rebuttal, but more or less an attempt to explain what actually transpired by the various units of the Ghana community. We've seen releases from
the Gadangbe Council,
by
the Gadangbe
Honorable
lawyers,
to
yeah,
the Gadangbe lawyers,
and so on. Yeah,
they actually condemned.
yeah, they condemned, but the
act.
council attempted to defend it.
No, the council, in a way,
Yes, was trying to clarify,
defend, but they also tried to, speak in line with the law.
And one of the things they said was it's actually a betrothal marriage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even with that, there's a problem. You just read the act.
Yeah, but the honorable just draw my attention to something having seen
the force. Now, I am not a lawyer,
yes,
and I will not try to be one.
Yes.
But my understanding of the law when it comes to sexuality,
yes,
is that before a child is 16 years, he cannot engage in anything sexual.
That's true.
When you do that, even with the consent of the girl, it's termed as defilement.
Right.
So, in that regard, that it is perceived, or what the understanding or the layman's explanation of that, it means that that girl at that stage, even if she gives her consent, it cannot be considered.
I agree.
You understand?
Her consent is immaterial.
It's immaterial.
Yes.
So what I'm getting is that because the girl does not have the right to make a decision at that time.
Yes.
Any act that happens is forcing.
Yes, that's true.
That is my fundamental understanding of that clause in the law.
That's your interpretation.
Exactly. Because she hasn't got the power to say, I want to be part, I want to be betrothed or whatever.
Right.
Now, with this thing about betrothal and all that.
But are you saying that based on the fact that you assume that the age that came out at 12 was right?
Well, for us,
honorable,
even with that, let me come in. No, she's not a minor, but they said she's going to be 16 in July. Yesterday, the chieftaincy minister spoke on joy.
They've gone to check.
No, honorable. Let me.
Birth certificate and everything.
And she's 16.
No, honorable.
No, she'll be 16
according to the chieftaincy minister.
Yeah,
so she's still not 16. The law is very explicit.
So this is she's still a minor.
She's a minor.
One way
until she's 16.
Exactly. And as a minor, she does not have the right to consent to betrothal. You get the point?
I understand.
So
I am a cultural person. I believe that
who gives consent?
Honorable. Let me.
The law.
What?
You understand the law. So until the girl turns, if this girl was 16 or 17 or 18, we will just be okay with this. One of those kind of stuff. We'll just
I'll come to you. I beg you. I'll come
to you. Let me.
I just want to
But he's making some very interesting points.
Yes.
That his interpretation of the caveat, which is by force or forcefully, his interpretation of it is that until somebody is 18, right?
But sexual is 16.
Yes,
marriage
is 18. Good.
Yes.
Now, until somebody is 16. Now, here, in this case, we're talking marriage. So
marriage, so 18.
Right.
Yeah.
Until the person is 18 years, every decision you take every decision you take which affects the child will be deemed to be done forcefully.
Exactly.
Because she is not mature, quote and unquote, enough to take her own decision. So that's where he's coming from. So when I come back to you, you can explain that part. So please go ahead.
Yeah. So with regards to what's the stance now?
Yes.
And I'll be very
So
frank.
I said that it can be deemed to have been done to her forcefully.
That is
or by force.
Exactly.
Okay. And I mean, you said that you're saying that anybody who argues in that way would not be wrong.
Exactly.
That's the point of okay. Please
exactly. Now, I am a culture person. I believe that our progressive culture.
Right. Where do you come from?
I'm from the Ashanti side.
Okay, you're Ashanti.
Yes.
Okay.
So I am people who know me.
Okay.
But in the same vein.
Okay.
Outmoded cultural practices.
Yes.
Cultures that kind of trample upon the right of girls and women.
Mm-hmm.
I think our traditional rulers, our chiefs,
let's take a second
we should take a second look. When we did the FGM, we had people confronting us.
What is FGM?
Female genital mutilation, cutting their clitoris, the clitoris of girls.
Yes.
It's culture, and it's this. It keeps the woman pure.
It's dehumanizing them.
It's dehumanizing. That is what the Children's Act is saying.
We cannot continue to how do you call it? Toy with their rights under the guise of tradition, customs, and religion. That's the point you're making.
Yes,
okay.
And you see, more so, those of us who are privileged to have had some form of enlightenment.
Okay.
I mean, especially those who have exposed. I mean, we all have archaic people in our families, like our grandmothers who are not archaic in quotes. Let me put it like that.
Or old-fashioned.
As old-fashioned. Let me use the word.
Yes.
I mean, people who are not the modern.
Okay, so who are so traditional in their thinking?
Traditional in their
I think
thinking.
it's better.
Yes, I don't. I take a step.
I understand. I get it. I totally agree. I mean, for instance, honorable, you can never call someone like honorable as an old-fashioned.
No.
An old-fashioned person.
He's not.
He's very traditional but very modern.
That is the point.
Yeah.
So the point
I showed some of his videos when he was dancing to some gospel and some hip hop tunes. You'll be amazed.
He's an amazing man.
No, this man, don't mess with this man.
Exactly.
Anyway, so you're right. I'm wrong.
Yes.
It's not the fact that your tradition doesn't make you old-fashioned.
So the point I'm trying to make is that
Yeah.
those of us who get some form of, modernization and enlightenment, and
Right.
the basis, for instance, the fact that we want FGM to be stopped, we know that there has series of implications,
Yes.
health implication and others.
Yes.
We are exposed to it
Yes.
because of our
The
ability or the opportunities that we have gotten to go through education.
Mm-hmm.
It is, the onus lies on us to sit down with our grandfathers, our mothers, to explain things to them,
Right.
to get to a certain point. You understand? So we shouldn't also, try to jump in the same line with them to also defend it. It is culture, it is this and that and that. When we know very well that these things dehumanizes them. These things, this thing that has just gone on, it has a psychological effect.
Yeah.
I wish maybe we had a psychologist
In
on
fact-
this panel to even explain.
I get it. Yeah. I can understand what you're saying. In fact, even there's a sociological aspect to it, because I'm one of the things that I worry about is how she's even going to be seen in school, how her colleagues are going to relate to her, what will people say about her. So she's in school, isn't she? Her pictures are everywhere, her videos are everywhere. And I don't know how her colleagues, the teachers, the school environment is going to relate to her after this. What are people going to say anytime they see her? So that's something there's a sociological aspect to this. But Honorable, let me come back to you. You say you don't see any friction or clash between what has happened with the loss of the country. Loss of the country.
I am somebody.
You don't see any
I
conflict.
support every attempt, every advocacy towards reforming some of our culture and tradition.
Right.
But you can't generalize everything,
True.
every aspect of our culture. Let me say this. All this noise, why is it happening? Because she's a girl. Because she's a girl. Come to my constituency.
Even if
come
it's
to
just a
my constituency,
boy.
see boys who are also set apart in the same way
Yes.
to serve
Okay.
shrines. I'm telling you, I have a boy in my constituency, 6 years. He started doing his work as a priest.
Okay.
6 years.
Okay.
Recently, he even went viral on social media, people saying him doing.
Yeah.
That is how. For example, my own cousin, the Clan Wulomo,
Right.
if you go to Accra,
Right.
no more the Clan Wulomo.
Right.
He was set apart at the age of 8 when he was in school. You understand? This particular girl, I don't know whether you've even gone behind Moro. I know you normally do these things to even listen to how all these things started.
Right.
The parents were having a problem with having a child.
Right.
They had a child after so many. For 2 years, the mother went beyond the period of the 9 months. She wasn't still coming.
Yeah.
Rites were performed. She came.
Okay.
For 2 years, she wasn't working.
Okay.
You understand? For
Right.
2 years, she wasn't working. Rites were performed. So the parents right from there saw that this is a different
She's a
sort
special
of
child.
special child.
Is that the reason? Is that the reason I've heard one of the traditional leaders say that she's actually an old woman who's reincarnated?
That is what the belief is. That's why right from her infancy, she was set apart because of the way and manner, her delivery, and her, let me say, growth started. So she was set apart. At the same time, she was with this one boy in my constituency. He was born already with the hair dread.
Really?
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
you mean he was born with dreadlocks?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have a picture of him?
Oh, no, unfortunately, I didn't know we were going to discuss that area. I will have said it. But if you
and
want
when-
tomorrow, you can bring your cameras. I will set you. I will let
He was
you
born
see.
with dreadlocks.
Yes.
You don't consider these kids as ordinary kids. You consider them as special kids.
Yes.
I see.
Yes. So from day one, he was set apart. He was worshipped. He was bathed. He was cooked for. He was served. He was given all the things that everybody somebody who is revered was given. Today he's 8. He walks. Since his infancy, he has never worn any slippers before. You understand? He's never combed the hair.
Oh, like the AMA PRO. I've forgotten the former AMA
No more
PRO.
belly. No more.
I've forgotten his name.
I forgot his
no
name.
more Blafo.
Oh, Blafo.
Yes.
The same.
He's never wore.
He told you. He told you.
He was
As
best
infant
fitted.
said.
Yes.
No more Blafo also got into it around 6 years.
Okay.
Yes, around 6 years.
Okay.
So they are different people.
But would you agree, Honorable, that this one was marked with pop and pageantry?
I agree. That's why I made that this in local.
Yes.
These things happen every day in our traditional areas.
Okay.
My brother, where he comes from.
Yes.
Ashanti, where he comes from. It happens.
Okay.
But because of the way manner this one was done,
It was loud.
It was too loud,
too loud,
too
yeah.
colorful.
Yeah.
Because these things are done within the particular area without pomp and pageantry.
That's it. So nobody heard about it.
Yeah, because they are set aside. And people even want. But the reason why this one is sometimes what they do, the reason why they do this is so that as an ordinary human being, ordinary man, you will not attempt to go near her.
Okay.
Because you then will know publicly that this girl has been set apart for the gods.
Okay.
Because it is a belief of our people that if you touch her,
Okay.
the consequences for you will be there.
I agree. Let me do this.
Even with her, let me end with it.
Yes.
Even with her,
Okay.
my brother saying, there is no way you can abridge the process.
Okay.
Because as soon as you breach that process, there's a consequences that she will suffer,
Okay.
which will be even worse, detrimental to her own self.
Interesting.
And it's there. It's there. As soon as the tradition is started, you cannot truncate it.
Wow. Oh no, I beg you, let me do this. I'm told Kofi Kapito wants to make a quick input. Mr. Kofi Kapito, where do you stand on this? What do you make? Oh, we have to take a break? All right, so let's quickly take a break. It's just 30 seconds or so, and then Mr. Kofi Kapito has a quick intervention to make as far as this topic is concerned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Well, we've been having some conversations off air, but you don't want to hear it. It's a very interesting one. But anyway, just in case you just joined us, this is Good Afternoon Ghana in a plush different studio. And we are talking about the controversy surrounding the marriage, spiritual or customary marriage between a 12-year-old and a 63-year-old man. And
not the man.
Okay, a 63-year-old priest.
Not the priest.
Okay.
The
So what
marriage
is
is
it?
between the girl and the shrine.
And the deity.
Yes.
All right, and the deity, or the shrine, or the
The
stool.
topic on that
And
is the 63-year-old man.
Yes. Well, that's the topic, actually. But the correction is also important. But whilst at it, Mr. Kofi Kapito actually said he wants to make an input. So we've actually invited him to join us. So, Kofi Kapito, please do us the honors. And unfortunately, our time is up. But you're a big man. We can't say we won't allow you to talk. So please give us just your brief thoughts on this matter, sir.
Moro, good afternoon. Good
afternoon,
to
sir.
my old friend Neil and the rest of the panel. Moro, do you know man make laws?
True.
Yeah. So who made those laws?
We did.
Even Christianity. Yeah, thank you. So somebody made it. You see, and my mother was married off like that.
Hey.
Okay. My mother had 13 kids. I'm number 12. I'm in Arizona right now. I married my younger sister on Saturday. She's number 13.
Right.
Okay. The question is it something that is divine, or is a man that is trying to impose something that has been a practice throughout the years? Even the Bible, somewhere along the line, it was written by, quote unquote, men of God. Right? Nobody told us that the Bible was written by God. The Bible was written by human beings. I'm not against certain practice and certain norms that maybe will keep a child in place. I'm an Ashanti. They have something called Bragor.
Thank you.
Bragor is like what the Krobo people do. Depot. That one, when we do Bragor, that means the girl has reached a stage in her life. But she should be advised that if she's not careful and she sleeps with a man, she'll become pregnant.
Hey.
Yes.
That is, those practices are checks and balances
Yes.
to hold a girl in place. It's like FGM. Who introduced FGM? And who does FGM? Do you know FGM is practiced by women in the countries that they do it? It's not even men who take that advantage. And it is a man whose own thing is, I want to deprive a girl or a woman a satisfaction that she will be mine and mine only. Because she will not have the need or the edge to go and sleep with another person. Okay.
Wow.
It is good. But as civilization or human beings, we are dynamic. We change with times. People get more enlightened. People see that, oh, those things are not maybe what they are supposed to be anymore. This thing, it's not just in Ghana. Even in America, the Amish people of Pennsylvania, do you know they do things like that?
They do?
That they marry the girls at the first. Yeah. In America, Amish people.
Wow.
I get to my point.
I get it.
I'm saying is some do marrying their wives' sisters in America.
Then America now, they are
Yes.
some people are practicing polygamy in America.
That's serious.
That a community where, look, even the Mormons. Do you know how the Mormons marry multiple wives in America? The Mormons. Okay, yes, we are custom. We have our traditions. We have our practices. To me, at any given time, that we as people, we see that maybe we need to protect the vulnerable. All these things are put in place as is being advocated by the child rights gentleman. Right? That because a minor should be protected. If an 18-year-old girl, which according to our law, decides that I want to go and marry a 60-year-old person,
Yes.
so be it. But the 60-year-old and the 18-year-old girl will see the results when the man turns 70 and going on 80.
Kofi, I think let me use this platform to invite you on Saturday. Please, I beg you, join us Saturday. I like the perspectives you're sharing. Okay. So Saturday we will get you to join us digitally if that works for you.
No problem, because you see, it is nothing new.
Thank you.
It's practiced everywhere.
I get that.
Japan, India, everywhere.
I get that. Thank you so very much. I think this is very refreshing. Your perspectives are very interesting. Let me just do this quickly, and then I'll give the rest of the. Wow, it's just 2 minutes. I don't know how we're going to do this.
Do you know at what age was the Dalai Lama
the Dalai what
set apart?
India.
Yeah, 4 years.
Wow.
In fact, they started the process when he was 2.
I think at this juncture, I'd like to say a big thanks to you because we just have a minute to go. Otherwise, it will take us over the MCR. I want to say a big thanks to you for joining us. So, joining us this afternoon to have this very interesting conversation, it's Daniel Osetufo, who is the executive chairperson of the Younger African Women Congress Network. And then also Edwin Neilante van der Poel, Honorable Member of Parliament for the Dojo, but in his capacity as a Gadangbeist. That's my coinage. But he's a Kadangwe man, a very proud man indeed. To Neilante van der Poel, yes. Joining us Numo Neilante van der Poel. Thank you very much. And also, Bright Tapia unfortunately couldn't join us for some reason. We've been trying to reach him. He didn't answer our calls. I'm sure something came up, but he usually would attend to our calls anytime we call him. And also Joseph Webmako. He is with the HRRG. He's a CEO and also winner of the 5th UN Global Entrepreneurship Awards 2023. My name is Aldo. Thanks for watching. Let me just do this quickly. Kojo Chumbwaf has actually sent us a message. I have to read it. He says, "More, the problem I have with this matter is a 12-year-old girl being straitjacketed into a future marriage with a man over 5 times her age. Doesn't she have a right to grow up and make a decision about life and love?" Another thing about this is that there is no way of knowing that anyone is going to till she's of age. What shows that as soon as she can have menstrual cycle, the Wulama is not going to impregnate her in the name of the deity. Now here's the thing, Kojo, she's not being married to the man. She's actually being married to the deity, or the shrine, or the stew. So that's the extension she would have to make. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.